there was a story that I heard, and it was, anybody see For Colored Girls?
Yeah.
You remember the guy that I think Loretta Devine, when she was dating and stuff? Right, him. Well, he has an amazing testimony. I don't know if any of you've heard it. But in 1992, I think he was in a plane crash. So what happened was, I feel like I'm gossiping because what happened was, he was leaving from New York. I think it was New York going to, no, he was leaving for D.C. going to Chicago. So they get on the runway. It was about, I think in August, I want to say. Actually, I don't know when it was. It was one of those months where it wasn't quite, where we really wasn't expecting snow. Either it was like right before the snow came or right after it should have been done. But in any case, they're on a runway. They're ready to take this flight from D.C. to O'Hare in Chicago. And he's on a flight. They had to do some de-icing because it was cold. So they de-iced the plane. And then the truck that de-iced the plane broke down behind the plane. So the plane couldn't pull out the gate to get to the thing so they didn't fly off. So they had to wait until somebody came to fix the truck so they can get out of the way so the plane can go. But in the meantime, the ice had, kind of covered over again. It's like, oh, don't worry about it, we're going to do some more de-icing. So they de-ice the plane again. Now by the time the plane gets in line to take off, they're like 7 planes behind. So now it's time to take off. Yeah, so it's icy again. So he talks about, being on this plane, and they could barely get off the runway before this plane started tipping and, teetering and tottering. So what happens, they end up in the, I forget which river it was something right off of D.C. They end up in this river. Not the Potomac. I was with that. It was something that they crashed into. And I don't even know if they were coming out of D.C., so they might have had a flying wrong. They were coming out of somewhere. And, they just set off the air, off the thing, the runway, and the plane, crashed into the water, tipped over. Now, you can imagine, on a plane with so much chaos, they're not sure what's going on. All they know is they're in water, they're in their seatbelts. The captain never had time to really give the signal, and next thing you know, you're in your seat, strapped in, upside down, covered in, submerged in water. And he said something was telling him, he's like, I guess what the body does normally, which is kind of fight, something told him, just die peacefully. And he said, then something else told him, take your seatbelt off, So he took his seatbelt off, he pushed the stuff that had fallen and stood up. The water was here. The water was here. But the sad thing is, there were, I want to say 57 people on that flight. 27 died. So how many people, I wonder, listen to that first, well, just die peacefully. That's what the enemy wanted to say, just die peacefully. Just die peacefully. No. So how many people heard that first voice and went with that? Praise be to God that he heard that second voice and then suddenly figured this thing out. So he took his seatbelt off and the water's like mid-level somewhere. Not even drowning level. So he was able to get out, and by the time he got out the plane, there were like other passengers. Not only that, but they were like 20 feet away or 20-something away from the shore. So you had 27 people die on a plane where they really didn't have to die on the plane. But it's like you have to listen. Who are you listening to? Who are you listening to? And I joke about the way God speaks to me, but I thank God that I understand his voice and I know how he speaks to me. And that is key. Along with that faith is understanding how God speaks to you. Because somebody would interpret that as, oh, just die peacefully. Oh, that word peaceful, that sounds heavenly. No. No. Listen to that other voice that tell you to get up. So if something in you is telling you, okay, you're too old, you're not smart enough, you're not whatever enough, just die peacefully. Just live your life peacefully. No. Challenge yourself. If you're not waking up, I woke up, Steve Jobs, he had this, he did a, she gave me a card back there, I'm going to ignore it. Steve Jobs, he had this, he did a commencement speech at a university a couple of years ago. And he said when he wakes up in the morning, first thing he asks himself is this, whatever it is he has planned for that day, is this where I really want to be? And he says, yes, then it's a good day. tell you, when I woke up this morning, I asked, is this where I really want to be? And it's like, absolutely. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else in this hour, anywhere else, but right here, sharing my Saturday evening, afternoon with you ladies, and just sharing with you, what God is, how powerful He is, and how awesome He is. And I don't say that, I mean, some people may look at me like, okay, whatever. But when I say that God is powerful, when I say that He is awesome, He is awesome. Like Leonie said, before He put you in your mother's womb, He knew you. He knew you. He knew that I would stop just about 5-something. He knew that I would be 100 300 and 500 and something pounds. He knew me. And He didn't say, okay, well, she's going to be too short or too thin, to carry this girlfriend therapy thing. No, carry it. Carry it. Build up your courage. Build up your faith, because it's not about the structure. It's not about the physical. It's about your courage. It's about your faith. It's about your obedience. Build those things up and do what I told you to do. What I love is that I often think about when I read that scripture really took me back to, I think I was like in kindergarten or first grade. In the school that I went to, I never forget this particular year, they were having parent-teacher conferences. And I remember the art teacher, remember at Hannah, the art room was down in the basement? So the art teacher laid out this long scroll of paper from one end of the basement to the other. And it was like a huge basement. It was a school, so the building was huge. So she laid out this long scroll on paper, paper bag type thing. But it was like a roll of it. So she laid it out, and what the purpose was is for the kids to put some kind of design or something, so when their parents came to parent-teacher night, they can walk down and see this little mural that the kids created. And it's like, oh, I did that, point out what they did for their parents. So, of course, most kids, had ink and paint and crayons and chalk or whatever it is that you wanted to, write in. And most kids, of course, they did, dip their hand in their favorite colored paint and put it on a thing, like, that's my hand. Some of the kids wrote their name next to their handprint. Some of the kids did the rainbow or the sun, something that they were familiar with. I never forget, I took the brush and I went all the way to the edge of the paper. And I just put it almost like a Nike swoosh. And I wonder if they took that thing up in the corner of the paper. And it was funny because I remember when my mom came to do, the parent-teacher thing. I said, oh, what did you do? No, I did that. And it's like, why? But for me, that's that whole set apart. I set you apart. And I've never been one to do what everybody else is doing. In fact, I always endeavor to do the opposite of what everybody else is doing. It's just something about being like everybody else. I don't know. So, but it was amazing because even then, even as a small child, God has set me apart. He put that spirit in me that's okay with being set apart. That spirit that's okay with being set apart. And so I thank these ladies for this amazing day, just walking this journey with me. I thank you all for coming. We still have some more stuff. Look at our watch. Look at our watch. Like, it's over. I'm just getting us prepared for the next thing. The next thing that we're going to do is a panel discussion. But before we get to that, I just wanted to thank you all. Like I said, she gave me the card about 10 minutes ago. I know I'm well over my time, and I want to be respectful of everybody else's time. But if I can just leave you with anything, one, just trust God. Know that it really, somebody said it, it's not about you. Make yourself available to Him. Experience Him in 2011 like you've never experienced before. It's like I said, in 2007, before I gave my life to God, I had some good days. I never forget, this is the last story. When we bought our townhouse. And we bought our townhouse. And I was so, I was excited. This is our first house, we're about to. And we got to the place, and they was like, we need $1,000 deposit. And my husband looked at it, so it's like, okay, But that was in 2002. In 2007, and I'm not even going to share this whole testimony, but in 2007, God blessed us with the home that we live in today. And, I remember saying, Lord, if you bless me with this, and I'll do that. And He did. And so we started walking down that way, and I went to sleep, woke up, and He would do this. And we went and we sat at the table, signed the papers, and they said, you have to put down $10,000. Okay.
Right.
That's the difference between serving God, believing, believing, but giving your life to God. Because if I'm walking around like, if it's for me, it's for me. Lord, I trust you with my life. I trust you with my life. There's nothing that I can't do. There's nothing. And I feel so, I don't know when I say that, but I absolutely believe it. I absolutely believe it. There's nothing that I can't do. If I share with you the difference between trusting or just being a believer and then trusting God with my life and giving my life to God, I would tell you it's been a difference. My pay has doubled. It's been a difference. And I'm not saying that to be boastful or anything, but I want to give you an example of the difference. I'm sitting here now looking at a six-figure job. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to do that. Lord, I'd rather be in, Japan or something, helping people. That's what I'd rather be doing. That's what I'd rather be doing. So I'm sitting here literally contemplating, am I going to take this job? Because it's not about money. It's not about the house or the roof over here. Like when I say favor is far more important than money. Favor is far more important than a title. I want to be under his favor. His favor shifting, I'm shifting. So if he say, go through there, I'm shifting. Because I want to stay in his favor. Because favor does things for you that we never even get to see. He opens doors, he gives provision that we never even get to see. So endeavor to stay in his favor. So when he tell you to move. Because there's favor there. There's favor there. And when I say that favor is far better than stay under his favor. Stay under his favor. And I'm going to leave you with that. Stay under his favor. And I'm going to pass it over because I can talk and you don't get up here.
Ladies, please put your hands together once again.